Today is Friday, October 29th, 2021. This is part 2 of the conversation between my dear friend Courtney and I. Most of what we talk about in this episode will not make sense unless you listen to the previous one. Please do check out session 74 prior to listening to this one. Love you, mean it. Enjoy the intro.
Season 3 of Derapy. 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 It's season 3.
So we started dating, it was like June, July of like 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For context, this is 2 or 3 months after I've already been in a relationship.
Yes,
Continue.
yes. You were already in your relationship with your fiance,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought things were slowly turning around for you. I was so happy.
She saved my life.
Yeah. And so I started a relationship, and I did not date through college. This was like I didn't have any boyfriends prior to starting MTSU, and I didn't have any boyfriends.
So this is your first serious one?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And because I was single from 19 until I was 25.
Right.
So this was my first
Big
relationship.
Big girl relationship.
Yeah.
Right, gotcha.
We get to talking and whatever, and we both, have that conversation of like, do we want to see each other? Is this going to be like dating, or I have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So we choose to, be the only two people, dating each other, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Once we had that discussion, I decided to inform him, like, hey, I don't know how you feel about this, but I just want to go ahead and let you know, straight up, I have a really good college friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a guy, and he's in a relationship. I just want to let you know, like, sometimes, like we talk, as friends do.
Yeah.
But what else are you gonna do?
I don't know, see each other.
Well, yeah. And so he, at first, was like, "Oh yeah, like that's no problem," and I was like, "Okay, cool," And I told him, like, I didn't see you often,
Hardly ever.
but we texted and stayed in contact. So it's not like I'm hanging out with you like every weekend. As my relationship progressed, he got a little more, I don't want to use the word controlling.
Possessive?
Yeah, that's probably a better word. Didn't like that it's not like I gave you more attention than him. That's not what it was.
We literally hardly ever talked.
Yeah, we rarely, I would send you a text on your birthday and for like the holidays, just be like checking in on you. How are you doing? Happy holidays, happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And
he was like, too much.
Yeah, he really pulled me aside and said, listen, it makes me uncomfortable that you are still in contact with this person. And then he turned it, now I know he was manipulating me. But at the time, he was like, how would you feel if I had a female friend that I hung out with and like talked to while I was dating you?
We used to drink together. We used to stay nights at each other's places sometimes. And
I told him, and I said, well, I trust you, because we had been dating for, it was less than a year, but more than 6 months, so I don't know. But I was like, I trust you, because we had this whole like discussion of like what is and is not acceptable in a relationship. I said, if you were to cheat on me, like, I'm gone. One and done.
Of course.
Like, I'm not taking you back. No, because there was 5-year age difference between me and this guy, and I was older. He was 21, I was 26. Or about to turn, I was still 25, but my birthday's in January, so I was going to be turning 26. 21 and 25. And so I told him, I said, listen, we had each never dated anybody with that big of that age gap before, and I said, if you are to find somebody that be attracted to another person that's closer to your age, just let me know. Don't do anything with them, just break it off of me. Like, I would rather you just tell me up front. And he was all perfect, whatever. When he sat me down and told me that he didn't like this, and he reversed the situation and said, how would you feel if this is, I was honest, and I said, well, I would trust you because, I wouldn't care as long as you came back home to me and as long as you didn't do anything. Well, clearly, he didn't have the same confidence.
Wasn't good enough for him.
As a partner, I wanted him to feel like what he was telling me was valued, that he's communicating this to me. Tell me he's uncomfortable. I should respect that and try to do something to rectify the situation. And at that time, I was like, probably should limit
any contact
with Derek.
So
and I honestly, looking back, I regret that because of everything that happened after that.
Yeah, you guys ended up breaking up anyways.
Yeah, because
it was exactly.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be to anybody that's in a relationship that has somebody telling them you can't? I mean, I think he might have been projecting a little bit.
Yeah, he was definitely projecting his insecurities. Listen, if you have a friend of the opposite sex, and say it's a childhood friend, say it's someone you grew up with,
someone you went to college with,
yeah. Whatever, and it's extremely platonic, like there is no romantic feelings
and
for each other.
That friend is in a relationship of their own.
Yeah, I mean, then I think it's okay. The thing is, when you and your fiance were dating, like, she knew you were friends with me.
Yeah.
She had to have faith and trust in you that you wouldn't do anything, right?
I told her, Courtney, you've met her. These are the things we've done together. This is who we've been. This is this is how long I've known her and all of that. And she was like, I don't love the idea. Like, it doesn't excite me knowing that you guys still hang out and talk. She's like, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. I mean, if I told you that you're not allowed to hang out with whoever, she's like, that doesn't make me any better than my ex who told me who I can and can't see.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Each partner has to have faith in the other person that they're not going to ruin that trust. And I had that conversation with my current boyfriend. Like, I literally told him straight up, I was like, listen, I want you to know I have this friend. Listen, it's like I had to tell each one, you know. And honestly, I was shocked at his room. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good
man. I was just like,
he's a good man. Yeah.
I was like, are you sure? Because even last night I was telling him, I was like, hey, I'm going to be on Derek's podcast tomorrow. I have my hair appointment and everything. Yeah. And I said, I just want to remind you. And I was like, how do you feel about that? That I'm going to be on, I'm meeting him. I'm going to be on his podcast. And he was like, I mean, you're an adult. You make your own decision. He was like, I mean, I can't tell you I'm not going to control you and tell you what to do.
Yeah.
We've been together over a year.
Sweet. And
we both have told each other. He's like, this happened to me. I told him what happened to me. We have similar situations.
I think the sign of a good, healthy relationship is being honest about, the people that you spend time with that aren't your partner. Yeah. And if they're willing to accept that and trust you, then that's a good sign of a healthy relationship. Yeah. And if they are trying to tell you who you can and can't see, they're probably projecting onto you because they feel like they couldn't trust themselves around somebody that they've known a really long time. And you should just kind of keep that in mind moving forward. My relationship apparently saved me from destroying myself with alcohol and living recklessly.
Yes, I give her props for, because you've been 4 years?
4.5.
4.5? Yeah.
It'll be 5 in March.
And I want to say that's probably your either longest or
it's definitely the
longest relationship. And she met you at a time where you were at your lowest, and yet she's been with you ever since then.
She met me at peak F-boy.
Yeah.
And
you were definitely, I would definitely use that as a good descriptor of your behavior. You were a good friend.
I'm ready.
Ready? Okay.
Positive. Yes.
Like the fraternity you got, it was before you were in the fraternity, but I don't know if it was that specific fraternity or someone he knew that was in a different fraternity. But you guys were invited to a Halloween party, right? You invited me. You dressed up as a northerner. That's what you said.
Me?
Yeah. But everyone kept thinking you were, where's Waldo? Because you had a blue and white striped scarf. And you had a red sweater on, and so people were like, hey, I found you, Waldo. And you kept getting so annoyed. you were getting so pissed off.
I don't remember that at all. That's really funny.
But I remember we were it was kind of like mansion-like house. And I remember it was on the outskirts of Murfreesboro, and there were all these woods behind it.
It just hit me at the in October of 2016. I remember talking that weekend about how there were 3 or 4 different parties we had to go to over the course of that one weekend.
And it was Halloween themed, and I remember there was a bonfire outside in the backyard, and they were really stingy about like who was able to come in and out of like the actual house. And it was like, because I remember I told you at a certain point in time I needed to use the bathroom. And you were like, well, just go inside. And I said, well, there's a sign somewhere that was like,
oh, I remember what you're talking about.
Like, you can't, like, know people unless you're part of the fraternity or, like, the significant other of someone who's in the fraternity.
Oh, God, yeah, that was so annoying.
And you were like, Courtney, you're a girl. They're going to let you in.
I did say that,
like, use your feminine wiles to get your way in. Right? And I was like, and you know me, I like to follow the rules.
Right.
You know, I can't. Yeah. And so I was like, no, I would hate to go over there and ask them and then just tell them no and be like, well, what am I supposed to do now? You know? So I was like, well, I just need to go. And so I remember I ended up going into the like deep into the woods, not like deep, to like go to the bathroom. And like you stood guard, like you were far away that like you were giving me privacy. Yeah. But like if something like bit my butt or something, like I called out, you would like.
Or if somebody else, like the idea was like if somebody else had to pee, I don't want them like within like.
Yeah. Be like, hey, sorry.
Like this tree's taken.
Yeah. So you stood guard while, and I remember I was so nervous because I was like we had been friends for like a year, because I want to say this was sophomore year, because it was definitely before your junior year.
If it was before the fraternity, okay, so that might have been October of 2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely before you were you were not in a fraternity.
Yeah, because otherwise I would have just like walked up to them and like, this girl has to pee.
Yeah, and so I remember being like thinking like, oh my gosh, like he's judging me, like he's going above and beyond what a friend is like would do. And I finished and I remember walked out and I was just like, I just knew, I was like, oh my gosh, like he did that for me. Like I could see like a girl doing that for a girl, because you know girls go with each other to the bathroom all the time, and you know they help each other out. But for a guy friend to do that for his female
just
friend,
a friend, just because.
Do you remember I saved someone's life that night?
No.
Do you remember that?
No. It's kind of a blur.
Okay, so at the bonfire there were these like, I don't know if they were hay bales or they were like logs, but
there was a bunch of hay. I don't know why.
Yeah, and like you could sit on like around the bonfire.
Yeah.
I wasn't drinking that night. Well, you know me, I don't really like to drink.
Yeah, it's not your thing.
I was standing next to you guys, you and Jordan. We were just talking, and I noticed there was a guy who clearly looked underage. Like he was like a baby. He was like 18.
Had to have been in high school.
Yeah, he was stumbling around.
Of course.
And he decided it would be smart to like stand up on one of these like hay bales or whatever, these logs that they were using for seats around the bonfire. He was wearing a hoodie. He was standing on this log. He had a drink in one hand. He was like, woo, whatever. And he stumbles, loses his balance, and he starts falling forward towards the fire.
Oh my God. And I remember you telling me about it after.
But like you were like a little off, like a few feet away from me. I was standing like behind him, so I was watching him, and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna fall. And plus he has alcohol with the fire.
Right, yeah.
You know,
he would have blown up probably.
So I grabbed the back of his hoodie and I yanked him back. No, he fell on the ground, obviously. And, you know, but I mean, when you feel invincible when you're, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh my God, and I pulled him back, and he fell on the ground, and he was just like dazed and confused. And I was just, I remember I looked down at him, I was like, I just saved your life. And he looked at me like, what?
What? Word?
And then later on I found you guys, because then didn't they say the police were being called?
That's every college party ever.
Yeah, and then you were like, we gotta go. And so like we left really quickly after that.
So when Spice and I got together in March of 2017, and then you began your relationship in June of 2017.
Yeah.
All the way up until your relationship ended with that guy, we didn't really have any contact.
Yes.
After that, you were like, hey, I'm back. And I was like, huh, interesting.
Well, so I remember after we broke up, I don't know if I contacted you or if you contacted me, or I don't remember.
You must have contacted me, because I assumed you were gone as long as you were with him.
And so I was talking to you on the phone, and I was telling you what happened. You kept laughing because you were just like, I was like, this is why we broke up. And then you were like, what? And I was like, this is what he said. And you were like, are you freaking serious? And
Yeah.
you're like, he's an idiot. Like, you know, I
I
was telling you the
being-
whole story.
Yeah.
And
You told me like a year or two's worth of stuff in like one
Yeah.
phone call, and I was like, oh, he's terrible. Oh, why were you with him for so long? Oh my goodness. Oh, he's the worst.
listen, I love that you hype your friends up. Like,
Of course.
you know,
Yeah,
and
obviously.
you are just like always on our side. Like, if I tell you, like, if I was to call you after work and be like, oh my gosh, I had the worst day at work and this girl was a bitch to me and this is what she did, you would be like, oh my gosh, she's such a bitch.
I'd be like, yeah, somebody kill her. She's the worst. Like, who is she? Whoever she is, she's the opposition.
Yeah,
I hope the worst comes to her.
Yeah, like, you're the type of person, like, I can literally just tell you, like, hey, we hate this person right now. I'd be like, I'm on board.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
She could work in a church full time. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
So, but, like, I knew that I could just reach out to you and like,
And I would forgive.
Yeah,
As I always do.
And I did apologize because
You did.
looking back, I was like, yes, I should not have done that. I should not have chosen, you know, a new relationship versus a years-long friendship.
Yeah. And I remember telling my friends, I was like, gosh, you wouldn't believe it. Courtney just cut me off one day and never even gave me a reason. It's like, and it was sad because I knew exactly why it was happening, but like we weren't even allowed to.
You said it happened to another one of your friends that was a girl.
Yep. Yeah. Same thing happened with her, and then she and him broke up, and she called me.
Yeah.
She called me just like you, and was like, "Oh, we broke up," and I was like, I'm ready for it. And she's like, "I'm sorry," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
How dare you?"
I know.
But it's
I
okay.
learned my lesson.
I'll always be here
Yeah.
anyways. Here we are, present
Yes.
day, in October of 2021,
Yeah.
and we're both in our own very healthy relationships, but we can still come together for this. So full circle, everything's okay. If you have the right person in your life that you're with, then they aren't going to keep you from your friends. I guess that's the
They're
moral of
gonna
the story.
support you. They'll be okay with who you associate with.
And also, if you're having trouble making friends, I don't know, just try being normal and just saying, hi, my name is, and shake their hand. Because, it's, here we are. Is there anything you want to say about this, about us, before I close it out?
I can't wait for the next podcast that you have me on.
All right, awesome.
Thank you so much for joining me in Derapy today. New sessions every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Follow me on Spotify. Follow me on Apple Podcast. Absolutely free. Give me 5 stars if you enjoyed. If you didn't like it, don't do anything. But share it. Maybe somebody else will like it. You better go crazy. I'm Lil Dicky if he took rap serious. Black, what I am. Never been to Hogwarts, but I'm curious. Haters see the numbers and they furious. I'm a small man, got big plans, I'm Tyrion.
Drink and I know things.
One more Game of Thrones reference and you'll shut it off. Send me off to Castle Black, cause I swear to God, I want it all. All the smoke that I can handle, but I'm not a smoker. Gambling with these investments in my craft, but never played poker. I'm yelling like I'm Meek Mill, so you can hear me. Competition should fear me, I mean it so sincerely. I'm fighting fire with fire so I can stay hot like Baywatch. Just a matter of time till I blow like a Michael Bay plot. You better stop! But I will not, I simply don't know how. I am way too proud, I'm earning my crowd. I have to stay loud, busy on my grind. Get used to the sound, this is now my life.